So, Chris Jericho, what's been going on in the Fozzy land? You got the new album coming out soon?
Yeah, album comes out August 14th. We just filmed a video for Sandpaper, the first single, and we're getting ready to go on the road on the UPROAR tour that starts August 17th. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty busy year for us for sure.
And right now, are you on the road as well?
No, I'm actually home right now.
This Rockstar Energy
Yeah,
Drink
tour
Uproar
starts.
Festival. How
Yeah,
far are you guys going with that?
the whole thing. I mean, we're going coast to coast from Tampa, Florida to Seattle, Washington, and everywhere in between. So it's gonna be good with Papa Roach, Godsmack, Stained, Shinedown, and us, a couple of the bands. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Recording this new album, Sandpaper, your voice sounds incredible in this, and you're delivering some good notes and stuff. Was it, fun recording this album? How was it, your side of things, recording your voice?
Well, I mean, we toured quite a bit on the Chasing the Grail record. We had like 16 countries we did over 18 months, so a lot of shows and a lot of experiences. And so yeah, when you go into the studio after that much touring, you really know where your voice is and where you are as a performer and your range and your style and what your wheelhouse is. So it's gonna it was great to get back in the studio with kind of all those tricks and weapons in my arsenal. So we recorded pretty quickly. At 15 days it took for me to do my vocals, one song a day, and very, very happy with the results. Some of the best thing I've ever done in my life, I think, probably.
Now, since your first album with Fozzy in 2000, did the studio styles change for the band at all in recording?
Yeah, I mean, well, not really, actually. I mean, since the first album, yeah, I mean, things have changed all across the board since then. I mean, back then there was still, you would go into a studio to record every little thing. Now, Rich Ward has a home studio. There's a studio in Tampa that we use that's basically all on computer that you can do now. So you don't have to go to a studio to record vocals. You can do it all, in your living room if you have the right software and stuff. So that helps out a lot. It makes things a lot more convenient. And you can go in and throw down for an hour and a half or 2 hours, lay a song down, and you're done. And that's a pretty cool way to do things now.
It's way more relaxed then.
Yeah, it's more relaxed and you can be more focused. Like I said, for whatever reason, when you're in the studio and you're sitting around in the studio and you listen to a take and you go have a drink and go hang out, and you seem to waste a lot more time in the studio back in the old days. But now you can just get in there and focus on it. Like I said, sing as hard as you can for 2 hours, which is basically the limit of what you should be doing. You shouldn't be hurting your voice much more than that, and then get out and you're done. So it was a real enjoyable process for sure. And like I said, we got some great results, which was really the most important thing.
Now with every album coming out, because you had Chasing the Grail in 2010, so are you guys going to be having albums out every 2 years? Would you say another one in the future, like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've already started writing lyrics for the next one. Like I said, we got so much momentum from Chasing the Grail, and so many big things happened for the band that we wanted to continue the momentum. And so like you said, so 2012, Sin and Bones is coming out, and then we'll do the tour and we'll get right back on the horse and do another album again. That's the most important thing, is to keep it consistent and keep the momentum moving forward. That's what you have to do, in this day and age for sure.
Now, Chris Jericho is like a wrestling legend and vocalist. How do you manage your schedule? Because I'm sure it's very difficult at times.
Well, I mean, once again, going back to the template that we used on the last record, when Grail came out, I was just finishing up with the WWE, and then we went on tour. So I wasn't working for the WWE at the time. It was all Fozzy. And then once the Chasing the Grail tour ended, and we started working on Sin and Bones, I knew we had about 6 months of off time, so I came back to the WWE in that time. And now that Sin and Bones is coming out, I'll be done with the WWE and back on the road, full time with Fozzy. So most musicians take 6 months off and just kind of hang around. I take 6 months off and go work for the WWE for a while. It seems how it is, but you can't do both at the same time. It doesn't work. There's too much focus on what you're doing, especially when you put a record like Sin and Bones out. You want as many people to hear it as possible, which means you got to play as many shows and do as much promotion for it as you can. That's the most important thing.
Would you say when you go out on tour and if you're meeting people, would you be signing more WWE merchandise or Fozzy merchandise?
That's pretty much half and half at this point in time. I mean, people are Jericho fans, which is cool, and a lot of people checked out Fozzy because of Jericho from the WWE, and a lot of people have no idea what I do in the WWE, and it doesn't make any difference. They're not coexistent. They're two separate things from each other. The only constant is that Jericho does both, you know.
Now, a day in the life of Chris Jericho, you know, WWE versus on tour. How's that? Basically same schedule?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, you know, when you're on the road traveling, the biggest part is the show. That's the best part, is the actual show. And you know, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 60 minutes, it could be 90 minutes, and the rest of the time you're traveling, you're just trying to have some kind of a normal schedule. And you know, we do a lot of VIP stuff with Fozzy, a lot of promotional stuff, a lot of radio stuff, a lot of signings. So I mean, you're busy, but the best part of either one is the actual performance, and that's what you live for. That's why you put up with the other 23 hours of the day.
Now, you participate on online stuff like social media and stuff yourself?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. It'd be very important.
Do you find that's a good thing for musicians now that's starting a band, that you know, it's the way to go?
Well, you got to get your name out there. I mean, that's the most important thing. It's like, in this day and age, every little bit helps, you know. And the more personal of a relationship you can have with your fans, the better they're going to feel about supporting you. So, you know, if I was 15 and, you know, Steve Harris or Paul Stanley were telling me what they were doing that day, and they're out walking their dog or eating you know, cereal for breakfast, I would have loved it. So I think it's pretty cool for fans to get a chance to get a little bit of a inside look at what their favorite, you know, rockers or wrestlers are doing, what their favorite personalities are doing. Makes you feel like you're part of their lives more than just, you know, listening to the records or watching on TV or whatever it may be.
True, in the 80s we'd have to wait for a magazine to come out to see a little bit of news on
exactly.
our rockers, you
That's
know?
Right. That's right. Now you just go on Blabbermouth and find out right away what's up.
Now, you participated in the Zakk Wylde roast. That was awesome. The stuff you said, very catchy and funny. And as being an Ozzy Osbourne fan in general, you happened to see the Randy Rhoads unreleased video footage yourself?
I don't know which one you're talking about. If you're talking about the stuff that was on the God Bless Ozzy DVD or some of that stuff. For me, I've been collecting it for years. There's a place in Japan that has all the bootlegs of all the great, you know, all the great concerts that are legendary. So I've seen quite a lot of it, but there isn't a lot of it that exists. You know, there's kind of at the cusp of when people started filming a lot of stuff. So there's some good Randy footage out there, but not a lot.
Because they re-released Blizzard of Oz, like in the box set, they had a DVD on it.
Yeah.
You've seen that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've seen that before. That's from the Rochester After Hours, the famous performance footage. Yeah, I have that. Yeah, I got that one too. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, where you got the box set with the LPs. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, that's very cool.
I'm sure you're very happy to see this and, you know, see Randy in action.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So what's your take on music nowadays, like compared to the 1980s? Is people making music in general better or not as good?
Well, it probably depends on where you're at in your life. You know, I mean, obviously, if you grew up in the 80s, you look at that, like even the bands that you thought sucked at the time, like Duran Duran or something, you realize afterwards are great bands. And I was just kind of listening to a lot of 90s stuff the other day and realizing that there was a lot of great bands in the 90s too, which a lot of those bands bothered me at the time. And it's probably the same with this day and age as well. But you still have a lot of great rock and roll bands, like a band like Avenged Sevenfold that comes out and it's just like an amazing band. One of my favorites completely, and they're, you know, fairly new. So there are new bands that come out and continue to make great records, and you know, and there's a lot of other stuff as well that you hear that's good, and it'll probably get better as time goes by. And there's also a lot of you know bubblegum type stuff, as there always is. But you know, every decade, you know, metal gets one or two new great bands. You know, whether it be, you know, Metallica and Megadeth in the 80s, or Slipknot and Avenged in the 2000s, or Bullet for My Valentine, or whatever it may be. So as long as new bands like that continue to come up and create great music, I think you know, rock and roll will be okay. Let's
say for this summer, what you won't be doing interesting besides playing some music and stuff?
Well, yeah, we'll be on tour, man. I mean, we start UPROAR on August 14th, and we're gone till like October 2nd. So we'll be going across the whole country, and you know, how much more fun can you have than that? It's going to be great. We're excited.
Well, Chris, it's been a pleasure talking to you about all this stuff, and keep up the great work on everything you do in your life, because it's great.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing everybody in the summertime, man. It's going to be a good tour. Thanks.